Hello and good morning, everyone. We've got our week 7 prize arena today. It starts in 15 minutes. So if you would like to join, you got 15 minutes to do so. I see we've got a couple people from UCLA. We've got someone from Illinois. I see Reed from Milwaukee. We got someone from Georgia Tech, Bangladesh, UC Berkeley. We have a couple international players registered under the CCL club page. Probably haven't registered their club yet. But yeah, I'm excited for this one. Yesterday was our Bullet Arena, or Swiss tournament, I should say. We had about 80 players play. So looking forward to the bracket next week. If you played in that, make sure you let me know. Hello, Pot Pie. Are you going to be playing today for SIUE? Now that you're the number 2 rapid player. I know the club has been invited. But yeah, we got this arena starting in 13 and a half minutes now. Right now, UCLA is the favorite to win. They have 2 players in the top 3. But I expect a lot more will be joining. So UCLA is also streaming right now. Their president, Richard, is in the middle of a 24-hour stream, which is kind of crazy. I want to say they're on hour 22. So whether or not he plays in this, I don't know. But they might stream it. Good luck to Risky Gris. Yes, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I see here we have a player from Tunisia, which is cool. We have another player from Uzbekistan in there. But yeah, we always invite like 40 schools to these tournaments. I'm not sure how many end up actually competing. I want to say it's maybe like 15 or so. But it is pretty competitive. The top 5 clubs earn an extra membership for their members, which is always fun. I see another player from Illinois joining, whose username is Rochester. We have 2 schools from Rochester, Rochester Tech and University of Rochester, although I don't think either of them playing this. Hey, Brigham, good to see you. How's India? I'm loving your photos, by the way. Yeah, that register link is for the fall season coming up. You can register now. That ends in September, so you have some time. But it is an individuals tournament, so you can register whenever. It's awesome. Yeah, it looks awesome. It's ending soon though, right? When's the Olympiad over? UC Berkeley, I think, won this arena last week. So we'll see. Right now it's just Brigham, but maybe he can rally the troops and get reinforcement. Because right now UCLA, they have the top player. Hey, Quill Logic, good to see you. Are you going to be streaming this? I see 2 players from Illinois already in there. You came to watch. Sounds good, Risky. Appreciate the support. Last round is on the 9th, so in 2 days. Okay. That's coming up. Is India the favorite to win? Have they lost yet? I feel like I saw them beat the US. So I haven't really been keeping track very much. Almost midnight and you're only 1. Well, there is still 10 minutes left, so maybe Cal will wake up. The Uzbeks are in the lead. Well, that's good news for one of our players here from Uzbekistan, who's in there. But yeah, I didn't know they were leading. Noterbeck. Oh, cool. You'll be streaming over at Illini Chess. Awesome. Cool Logic. Really appreciate that. Shout out to Illini Chess. And I think yesterday's stream you also streamed, so today, if you want to stream and continue afterwards, I could raid you. Um, yeah, so just let me know. I'll probably raid you after if you're gonna keep going. If not, no pressure. I could also raid the UCLA chess channel, who, like I said, is in the middle of a 24-hour stream right now. They're going crazy. Shout out to UCLA chess. Gonna be hard to beat them for most hours streamed, but yeah, cool logic. If you wanna reach out to me, we could do a featured stream at some point too, if you want. All right, so we're up to 12 players. We have 9 minutes left. Another UCLA player has joined. Rohit from India. That'd be great. Awesome. Yeah. How close are you guys to affiliate? Are you affiliated yet? Let me check this out. No, you don't have the followers yet. Yeah. We'll have to change that. We'll have to support you guys. Get you up to speed. We have 4 clubs that are affiliated on Twitch now. It's UCLA, Cal Poly, Pomona, UNLV, and SIUE. So I think the 5th one to probably get it would be Indiana. I don't know if they've applied yet. But hopefully Illinois could be up there as well. And that would be 6, which would be huge. There's also a lot more streamers that stream on their own personal channels and their affiliate or partner even. So it's good to see the college chess streaming community is growing. Speaking of which, I see Masharaf is in there. Masharaf is the captain of the Bangladesh team, although now he is going to grad school at SIU Carbondale, which you love to see. Although Carbondale doesn't have a club registered. Private shoot with Magnus and Norway team yesterday. So surreal. That's awesome, dude. I can't wait to see those pictures. Do you like work for FIDE or something? Did they send you out there? I see Stony from Northeastern has joined. Yeah, Bregon, when are you going to start streaming? The world wants to know. You're buddies with the FIDE photographer. Nice. That sounds like a good connection for a photographer who's a fan of chess. You might start streaming. Well, let me know if that happens and I will support you. I'll follow you. You'll join the arena if possible at some point. Sounds good, Risky. What school do you go to again? All right, we've got 4.5 minutes until the arena starts. I see Pot Pie is in there. I see University of Arizona is now represented. We're up to 16 players. What's up, noob? You're looking good. You're the rating underdog. I believe in you, Popeye. You're going to get some upsets. All right, take care, Quillogic. Shout out to your channel again if you guys want to see the Illinois Chess Club. I see someone from UT Dallas. I see Firewoods. Maxime from Yale's in there. We got 2.5 minutes. I see someone from Uniben. You love to see it. Twenty out of 20. I'm trying to invite Rowan. Another Cal player. 2 knights advantage in there at number 11. We got 1 minute until it starts. One minute, people. One final minute. $30. Let me show you guys the arena scene. Here we go. All right. 15 seconds. We're up to 26 players. Firewoods in first. Roland from UCLA. Second, Sauron, number 3. Get a fish out of water from Georgia Tech, number 4. All right, should be starting now. Oh, I see someone from Houston's in there. All right, Firewoods versus Epicness. This is Maxime versus Roland. We've got a Roy Lopez with knight takes on e4. I should learn this line. d4, knight back hitting the bishop. Bishop takes, pawn takes on e5. Trade of queens. This king is uncastled. King comes back over, perhaps avoiding any rook checks. Yeah, not the best opening for black here. I'm not sure, though, as I don't know my Roy Lopez theory too well. But let's see. Okay, we have h5, sending the pawn on the king side. We have an early result. Bangladesh gets a point. Runner, that link is for the upcoming fall season if you'd like to join for that. But if you'd like to join the arena, !arena in chat, we'll give you that link. Ooh, I see Nick made it into the UT Dallas team. That's good to see, as Nick's going to rack up a lot of points for his team. So this arena really could be anyone's event. Lots of teams in here, and no one quite stands out. Maybe Illinois, maybe UCLA. We'll have to see. We could have some standout performances from some players like Maxime. I see Chris Herrera getting a point for Boise State. Love to see it. We're over 30 players in this arena. Not too bad. I see 4 players now for Cal, so they have a full team. All right, what's happening in this game? We have a couple trades. King steps up. White still has the better structure. Only 2 pawn islands as compared to black's 3 pawn islands, and they have a double pawn. We have rook to e1, kind of interesting. Rook up to d5. This is a nice square, and looking to double the rooks perhaps on the d file. And Roland has a minute advantage here. We have c4. This immediately gets the rook out of that outpost, and we see a trade on d1. And now a trade of bishops. The king steps to e7. Doesn't want to get checked on d7. So, blocking the rook's entrance. And now how to proceed. Maybe knight to e4 here for white. Maybe looking at c5. Meanwhile, black might want to play rook d8. Now knight to e4 will come with a tempo. But it looks like black is playing c5 here to land the knight on d4. That kind of clogs the open d file. But yes, this move, like I said, comes with tempo. Maybe black will simply play b6, connecting that pawn. How do I represent my college club instead of the CCL in the arena? What college do you go to, runner? Because this arena is only for clubs that are invited to compete. So we have a registration, or what's it called? A registry? Do I have a registry command? A directory, maybe. Yeah, if you check out that directory list, you will see all of the clubs that we have on file, I guess to say. And so Beacon is not part of that. So send me a message. For now, you can only play under the CCL club, or if you joined like another one of these college clubs. But I would recommend, if you wanted to play under the Collegiate Chess League channel or club. And if you wanted to get your school added for next week's arena, we do this every week. So send me a message with your club information, and we will make sure that your club gets added for next week. We do this every Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific. I see Nick from Dallas has gotten a point. So no one has gotten 2 wins yet. Pot Pie, 1 game, 1 win. So already undefeated. You'll love to see it. Thank you, Runner. Appreciate it. Yeah, just send me a message, especially on Discord. I prefer that the best. I'm assuming you're in the Collegiate Chess League channel. How long will this event continue, Mashraf? That's a great question. This event is weekly, and we hope to continue this throughout the regular season and throughout the school year as well. We might have additional prizes coming out for summer tournaments. We do have a record of all of the tournaments that we've done. But we will probably announce something a little more official during the school year and keep track of those results. Here I see Roland has played rook to f5. Now this attacks the e pawn, which is quite weak, and looks like Firewoods in compensation has opened up the b file and weakened Roland's pawns. So this is kind of interesting. We could see the rook infiltrate now to b7. And there you have it. That's a fork on the pawns. You can't save both. Not from what I can tell. The king decides to save the c pawn, as that would fall with check. And now we have rook takes on a7. That is a passed a pawn on the outside there for Maxime. So this is even material, tight game. The rook gets hit by the knight. Brigham has won a game. They're 1-for-2. See, the mouse is in there from UCLA at 1 out of 1. We got a couple Bangladesh players surely there in the lead, and they are. They have 6 points to UCLA's 4. We've got a bunch of clubs tied at 2. No one's gotten their second win yet, and these players are still in their first game. Some of these games last a while because there is that 2-second increment. All right, so knight to b4, that's attacking the a pawn, but the a pawn can run. Well, it's also defended. White decides to bring the king up to d2. That takes away some squares from this black knight. And maybe now the pawn will run. White definitely has the advantage here. And they are down a minute and a half, though, but getting checked. This is a fork. I wonder if a3 was any good. Okay, there is this king b7 move. This kind of flushes the rook out of the corner. And if the rook wants to save the pawn on a2, it's going to have to stay on the a file. So coming up here, now rook is under attack by the knight. There is rook to b5 check. That puts the rook on a nice open file. And it's also putting the king to the a file, cut off onto the edge of the board. And looks like this knight is rerouting to e4. Ooh, but knight on d4. This is some tempo here on the rook. Rook has to move. Goes all the way back to b1. Now, black's rook and knight are converging on the e2 square, but this knight is timely defending e2. So there's no rook check to win material. And this knight looks like it wants to come up to e4. This is a nice outpost square, helping block the e file, and it cannot be kicked out by any pawns. So knight to e4 paired with knight or king to d3, putting pressure on the knight. That actually targets the c5 square. And there would be attack if knight takes, rook takes, king takes. Only 30 seconds now for Maxime. Looks like he's going for my plan. Cal Poly Pomona Chess in the chat. Shout out to you guys. I see you have at least one player in the arena. Are you going to stream this? Yep, king here. The threat is to take So the knight comes back, defending itself. But now we might see rook to b5. Yes, this knight was covering that square, and now the rook coming in, targeting this pawn. Seems impossible to defend. Maybe black can play knight a6. So knight b4 first. That's a check, and it's also a fork. You can take this a pawn, but you're going to lose the c pawn. So the knight decides to go back to hold on to the pawn. Now we have g4 attacking this rook. Probably we'll see rook e5, trying to hold on to the pawn. But also we might see the rook come back. That does lose this pawn. So I'm expecting rook e5, and it's been played. Again, epicness, up over a minute. And now the rook's getting flushed out. Rook back to b1. But now we have this pawn on a3, keeping the knight out of b4. So the knight comes back, and that is a sacrifice, but temporarily, as the rook is pinning this knight. And now we see black's pawn structure get temporarily fixed. What is happening here? We've traded, and now material has been rebalanced. But looks like, okay, here, and now this pawn is hanging. Actually, white's up a pawn here. Ooh, rook here, going for that trade. Very smart. Very wise. Oh, but that drops the e pawn. So Roland fighting back. And Maxime is in some deep time pressure. We have rook to b3 check. That forces the king back. And let's see. Okay, rook here, though. This allows the king out. I'm not a fan of this move. Not sure why this was played. Rook here. No, going after this one. This is probably just a draw now. White slight advantage, though, as the king positioning is much more advantageous. So king takes, looking to come here immediately. And if check, king here. You're in bed. Well, you know, you can still play, right? Nintaz is in there. Nintaz has no excuse. Check here. Now there's rook check. And there's king here. But then the king can attack us. So maybe we go here. Oh. Now we got to, yep, we let the king back in. But this pawn is not defendable. White looks to be winning. Rook here. Okay. Let's see white's technique. With 10 seconds on the clock. Up a pawn. Great king positioning. Maybe rook a8. I don't know. Oh, yeah, actually, if king f8, there is rook a8. Yep, rook a8. Force the king back to e7. And now here, there's a rook check to give. But this allowing g6. Let's see. How's the technique? How's the technique? Rook here, defending the pawn. Rook there. Maybe king g8, yes. The pawn's going to get to g7. But now, how do you get that pawn to promote? Yes, king h7. Check, and now there's rook h6. Trade, and now, yep, the king gets to h7 in time, and that pawn is promoting. So Maxime starting off strong, taking down UCLA's top player here. And looks like Cal is trying to chase down the lead. Bangladesh is up by 1, but Cal just took the lead back. Let's try to find ourselves another game here. We have Nintaz. Nintaz not looking too good for the Cal Poly Pomona player up against Georgia Tech. And Nintaz is the higher rated player. F4 check. That should win the queen maybe, or win the bishop. Queen check, still good. There's bishop block. There's also f4. There would have been en passant. This is not good. Maybe you need to play f3 and sack the queen. Actually, that's your only move there. That was the only legal move. So now rook takes, forces queens off. Well, the queen off. Oh, but we have this trade. Oh, but the bishop's hanging. You can take on g7 with check. Actually, you could go to d4. Bishop to d4 and you save the promotion, but you don't want to play that. So Nintaz resigns. Here we got Chris is playing against Bangladesh. This is one of our leaders from Boise State. Let's see. Also, we have Penguin Packs joining. National Master from Georgia Tech. So a late ad, but a strong ad. And that's going to make Georgia Tech pretty competitive, although they have a late start. Looks like Cal adding on to their lead. They're up to 17 points now. With a lead from Brigham, who's 3.5 out of 5. He's got 10 points. I think I saw he was playing. Ooh, Sauron versus Old Man Reed. This is two leaders from Illinois and Milwaukee. Sauron, one of the favorites here for sure. Strong player and a strong lead in this game for sure. Here we got Pot Pie from SIUE playing against Illinois, and that doesn't look like a good position. This, okay. Check doesn't threaten that much. There is bishop block. Computer's saying to play knight b3. How is knight b3 only -1? That is wild to me. Knight b3. What happens if queen takes? You played knight from d to b1 and that queen's trapped? What? No, that can't be right. Queen can come back to b2. Here's a check. Bishop d7 was a counterpunch. Oh, queen check, and that saves the rook on a1. Pot Pie fighting back. Only down a pawn at this point. Soon to be a second pawn. True. But hey, things were looking grim. Got your first stalemate on American soil. A milestone, a game to remember. All right, let's see how Penguin Packs is doing. Playing up against an Illinois player. No clear advantage, though. Both sides castle, king side. White's got a little extra space. We have opposite color bishops. G6, keeping this knight out, but maybe we'll see f5. f5 seems annoying, but this does give up the e5 square, and that allows for the knight to come in. Low time for Arsha. He does go for f5. And now Penguin. What will they do? King to g7. That is interesting. I don't know if I would have played that. It's interesting. It defends the queen, I guess. After pawn take. It also unpins the f pawn. So if f takes g6, there's f takes g6, and that actually opens up black's rook as well. So it kind of makes sense. Now the knight dives in to e5, hitting the bishop, so the bishop comes back. We've got a game between Cal and Illinois. Brian is a good player here. Looks like they have the advantage on clock. Ah, that's a free piece. Yep, forgot about the pen. That's an easy conversion here for Brian. They're not missing that. Yep, resignation. So more points for Berkeley. Where are they at now? Oh, they're tied with Bangladesh. So Bangladesh fighting back, keeping it close, 20-20. Next, we have Illinois at 17. Ooh, we have a capture here on d4. And rook takes on b2. I thought bishop to b3 would have been good here. Whoa, this is a blunder for sure. We have resignation. Perhaps a mouse slip. But knight takes wins on the spot. I'm surprised. I don't know. This seems unfortunate. All right, let's check on some of these games still. Here we got Quill Logic. This is a big Illinois versus Berkeley matchup. Quill Logic, one of the favorites in the tournament. And if he can get some points here, that'll be big for them to catch up. Right now, they're in the number 3 spot behind Bangladesh and Cal. Brigham's still leading the pack at 10 points. Oh, and Brigham's playing Nintaz. These are two California players going at it. Looks like Nintaz with a slightly favorable position now, doubling and isolating these F-pawns. Brigham playing rook e3, begging for a rook trade, hoping black will take, but Nintaz kind of copies them, rook to e6, saying two can play at that game. So Brigham doubles, and now I'm assuming Nintaz will also double. And so now the rooks are in a standoff, all four on the e-file. But yeah, Nintaz has a pretty good advantage here. Not only a pawn advantage, but pawns on light squares. Both of them have dark square bishops. So Brigham's pawns are going to be a target, going to be definitely a weakness here. Easy for this bishop to attack. King back to f1, and it looks like Brigham's trying to go for e2, but that's actually going to be a blunder thanks to rook takes on e3, forcing pawn takes, and this pawn on f2 is actually pinned by the bishop to the rook down here. Let's see. King Nubs now is taking the lead for the tournament. We see a trade of rooks here. And now rook e6 again. Club standings haven't changed much, though. That or it's just not updating for me. I assume it's actually not updating. I feel like there probably have been some games played. But I don't know. The standings aren't updating that much either. Houston's up there at number 4 now. These games are just taking a while to play because of the increment, I assume. Yeah, it looks like Quill Logic's going to get a point here out of Berkeley, which will be great for Illinois. And yeah, Quill Logic just taking that space in the center. Look at those 3 pawns, 2 of them attacking that knight. So the knight goes back. Now there's the move c6, attacking the knight yet again. Knight comes up, and now maybe d6. d6 looking pretty strong and aggressive. King e3 is another idea to try to get to d4. Try to flush that knight out yet again. Yep, looks like that's what Quill's going for. And Quill is streaming, by the way, at Illini Chess channel. They've been streaming regularly lately. Ooh, we got a big matchup here. Sauron versus Firewoods. This is Illinois versus Yale. Looks like we got a bishop pair for Maxime versus the bishop and knight combo from Sauron. I believe this is Rishi. So both these players over 2,200, but Maxime, the favorite, with about 300 rating point advantage. Berkeley now taking a lead, a 2-point lead. but I suspect Quill Logic should be able to get some points back in their game. And if Sauron could get points here, that would be huge as well. Let's see the conclusion of this one. D6 finally hitting. And yeah, those connected pass pawns are going to be too hard to stop. Two knights advantage is going to either run out of time or resign or get checkmated. One of these three things is about to happen. This knight on b3 covering a1, so no fear of promotion on white's end. Knight to c2, covering the a1 promoting square, but the knight can still sacrifice itself. Not going to matter here. Trying to distract the knight, but there is king takes. There's also probably some queen checks leading to mate, but we have a couple of spite checks left, and now perhaps going for a stalemate, but looks like instead we're going to have a checkmate. And there you have it. Quill Logic getting some big points out of Berkeley. And that's going to bring them to second place. Only 1 point behind Berkeley now. Bangladesh moved back to third. Let's find ourselves another game here. Maybe back to this Brigham game. About to end soon. Nintaz from Cal Poly. Going to bring in the queen for checkmate there. So Berkeley losing a couple points now. Let's check back on this top match. We have Resignation, Maxime with the win for Yale. Unfortunately, I don't think Yale has much support from their teammates. I think it's just Maxime doing the work. Yeah, he's 3 out of 3, a perfect score, but no backup. So only 3 players with a 3 out of 3 score. Let's find ourselves another game here. Let's check in with Nick. Nick from UT Dallas, one of their club leaders, playing against Arsha from Illinois. UT Dallas also streams. Haven't seen their streams in a while, though, I will say. I really like White's position here, I think. Well, hold on. There's queen to c4 check, and if you block on c3 with your queen, then there's knight a2 fork. So I think Arsha has a really strong tactic here that Nick missed. Let's see. Is it a miss, though? I don't know. Because I see there's a queen check coming in. Maybe you have to sack the knight with a5. Maybe you have a fishing pole tactic or something. But yeah, I was saying I really like white because I love this rook on the h file. Along with the queen and the knight maybe coming to g5, that looks really strong. But yeah, one move difference is all of the difference here. It's black's turn, and white has an exposed king. So what's happening here, actually? I'm not entirely sure, if I'm being honest. I don't know what the big deal is. Because, okay, maybe there's queen a2 check. Maybe king b1, queen a2, king back to c1. Queen check. Okay, we're winning the b pawn. Okay. Yep, that makes more sense. That makes more sense. I was wondering, maybe you could have played king to d2 right away. King to d2 right away. Oh, no. This is the end for Nick. That's a fork. That's a queen fork. With check. Oh, and it's pinned. It's another fork. We have resignation. Yeah, that's tough to watch. I wonder if king d2 immediately would have been better, because after queen c2 check, king goes to e1 anyways, but now there's no knight c2 fork. So probably going to b1 was a mistake, allowing for this queen to infiltrate, winning the pawn with check. All right, Cal's taken the lead back, or they've added on to it, ahead of Illinois by 6. Let's check some more games, shall we? We got Reed versus King Nubs. We have a win for King Nubs from Houston. We got Rohit versus Masharov. Rohit from UCLA. the club leader from Bangladesh. Ooh, looks like Rohit's going for a fork here. Does Masharov see it? Probably. Hope he's not listening. But lots of time on Masharov's clock. Look at that 3-minute advantage for Masharov. So much time. Plus an extra pawn to boot, so that's always nice. Here, maybe rook d2 strong for Rohit. Nope, attacking that rook. Maybe the knight goes back to f5, attack the rook yet again. That'd be kind of funny. But yeah, low time for Rohit. How's UCLA doing? They're in the 5th spot, so they're in prize territory. But Dallas is only 3 points. Dallas and Yale both 3 points behind. Let's see. Any other games we can look at? Looks like these two players are somewhat close in rating. We got UCLA versus UT Dallas. And looks like knight takes b6. Seems like a strong idea. But this does open the a file, and rook takes on a2 is going to double on the second. I don't know if that's what white wants to do here. Now, if black does double, white can simply play rook to g6, and that defends g2 and puts pressure on black's g7 pawn. So right now, black is up a pawn, but white can get some compensation. Let's see what they do here. Yeah, rook d7, getting on the 7th, followed with rook to g6 seems strong. And that's what white's going for. You can't really save that a pawn, so you might as well get active. Now, if black takes on a2, doubling, white really needs to play rook to g6. That's going to help save the g2 pawn and help mitigate the strength of the rooks on the second, as well as win the g7 pawn. So that would be really strong for white, actually. Club standings, Berkeley up by 6 over Illinois. Hey, Jules, good to see you. Jules, why isn't Claremont College playing in this, huh? Wow, rook back here to come here. That's interesting. Now, I would probably try to hold on to a2 now, because I don't want this rook to take and target this. So black saw this idea for white and was like, you know what? I'm going to go for that. So yes, rook to the second makes a lot of sense. And now the b pawns are really weak. No, that's not true, Jules. I've seen some good chess. You gotta play. Some of these schools only have one player representing. You know, you can do it too. You might not compete with the UC Berkeleys or the UCLAs, but you know, Cal Poly Pomona's in there. SIUE is in there. Yeah, this game, both players now under a minute, which is interesting in this very drawish rook and pawn endgame. Maybe we don't watch this. Okay, here now I'm doubling for sure. I'm for sure doubling. Right? Like, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe then they go back. That's what I would do. Here to here. 30 seconds for Super Chess Night. Does he go for it? Berkeley just adding on to the lead. Berkeley is dominating these weekly arenas. Who's going to contest Berkeley? I kind of wish UC San Diego would play. So black going for rook f2 and white's just blocking that again. We might see a perpetual repetition. Rook back to b8 to defend b7. Very low time for both sides now. 15 seconds or less. Black has a decision to make. They step the king up. That loses the pawn. And now white can double on the b file. a2 is defended. Pawn push, so pawns are even. The players are playing on though, because there could be a mistake made. Trade, the king steps up. Yeah, this is as drawn as it gets. As drawn as it gets. King Nub's still in the lead with 14, but Roland from UCLA has a streak of 4, only losing that first game to Maxime. Uh-oh, black has a 2-pawn advantage. What the heck happened? I looked away for a second. Excuse me. Where did your pawns go, sir? Check. And you played king to f4. Oh, my goodness. So UCLA getting the point out of UT Dallas after a big blunder, dropping that pawn behind. All right, let's look for our next game here. Ooh, Nintaz versus Brian. This is a big one. Both players at 1800. A California matchup. Cal Poly versus Berkeley. What's happening in this one? Both players at about a minute. Looks like white's the favorite by a lot here. They're up a healthy piece. Now, this check is annoying. The king's going to probably go to c3, allowing rook to b3 check. King's going to have to step back. Pawn takes. This wins a pawn. I don't see why you wouldn't take this. So a trade. And now black's gotten a pawn for the piece, but is it enough? I don't think so. This pawn now is running. c6. Rook check. Bishop block. Very wise. And now what? It's just game over. Brian's going to win this one. Ninta is trying to hold on, but it's not going to be enough. Under 20 seconds now. So Berkeley's going to add on to their lead. They're up by almost 10 points over Illinois. Illinois 1 point ahead of Bangladesh. White is queening next. Is Nintaz going to throw in the towel, or is he going to go for stalemate? Probably too hard to stalemate unless white takes that bishop and takes... well, yeah, rook sacrifice, trying to get rid of that. Okay. Black really needs to get rid of that bishop. Oh, this is going to be mate very soon. Rook check, and we have resignation. Don't see the mate. So now Cal is up 13 points over Illinois. Let's check on Quill Logic. Can he get some points back for Illinois here? We have bishop pair versus bishop pair. But black has more space and 2 pawns connected, by the way. And looks like this is gonna be brutal. This wins a bishop by force. Bishop c4 check. Ouch. Bishop takes, and now f2 and f1 equals queen. And this has to be mate very quickly. Very quickly. There it is. Nicely done from Quill Logic. All right. Let's look at Sauron versus Matrix. Two of the best franchises out there, Lord of the Rings and The Matrix, competing. And looks like Lord of the Rings wins. with this pin on the bishop. So Sauron getting more points for Illinois, trying to come back. Now they're only down by 5. So it is a tight race. Let's see, another game here. Epilef versus Brigham, Berkeley versus Arizona. And looks like Brigham's doing well. How well are they doing? They seem to be up in exchange, as well as a pawn, and better pawn structure too, and looking to double rooks on the d file. So all in all, Brigham's doing well. He's up on time as well. So this should be a conversion. Looks like he's trying to trade off rooks here. Maybe even queens. Okay, knight into d6. That's kind of annoying. That's a great outpost square, but maybe we have f6. f6 makes a lot of sense to me. Not played here. Instead, attacking this rook. 2.5 minutes for Epilef, doubling on the f file. So kind of going after that f pawn. We're threatening maybe knight takes f7. Yeah, knight f7 is annoying. It forks to the queen and the rook. And if you take with the bishop, queen takes is going to force the checkmate with the back rank tactic. So you kind of have to guard that f7 pawn. We might need to see queen to g6 again. Oh, we have f6 now. So the queen steps back, and that's a lot of pressure on f6. This hits the queen. Hello, Stano Bucks. Good to see you. How you doing? Welcome. Yo, Planet Chess Club with the raid, party of 11. Thank you so much. That's Stano Bucks, man. Shout out to the PCC. Not to be confused with the CPP, Cal Poly Pomona, who's playing in this tournament. So for those of you just tuning in for the first time, this is the Collegiate Chess League. We do a weekly Sunday arena every week on Sunday, as that would suggest, 11 a.m. Pacific. This is a arena for college chess clubs. We have about 40 clubs invited. About 20 of them playing. Right now, UC Berkeley in the lead with 36, but Illinois right on their tail at 34. So only 2 points behind. We have Bangladesh in there in number 3 spot with 25, and UCLA number 4 at 22. We give out a prize membership to the top 5 clubs. So Georgia Tech is just in there, 1 point ahead of Houston. And yeah, you heard me right. I said Bangladesh. This is an international event. We have teams from all over the world competing. This is part of the Collegiate Chess League. Last season, we had over 100 schools from a dozen countries. And we also have an ambassador program with over 200 schools represented, which is very awesome to see so much college chess growth in just this last few years. The Forever Chemical CPP, yeah. Yeah, we got the PCC, the CPP, and maybe some PCP. Who knows? Epilef Chess, absolutely stunned here looking for a move. And they blundered the knight. They've blundered the knight. The knight on e4 is hanging. They spent so much time on that just to blunder. Is Brigham going to find it? Are they going to take it? Or are they concerned, perhaps, about e takes f6? Either way, he's got 2 minutes to figure it out. Lots of time here for the Berkeley player. And Brigham, if he can get some points here, that's going to add to Berkeley's lead. So he does take the knight. We do see e takes f6. And the threat maybe is to check and win this rook. But we see Brigham defending the f-file. Rook to f5. And now perhaps getting a queen trade, maybe trading rooks first. Not too sure. Getting the queens off, this is very sensible. Rook takes comes with the tempo on the bishop. I would play bishop to f7, preventing this check. Ah, he gives up the bishop. Oh, but then rook check forces the piece off. Okay, so up an exchange and a pawn for black. Let's see this conversion. Up a lot of time as well. Rook is hit by the bishop. Rook check. King steps up. The kings meet in the center, as is customary in the rook endgame here. Don't play rook e1 check. So the bishop covers that. You trade here. Hello, Sabo. If you'd like to play, you can join with that link. All you need is a club to join from one of the colleges, or you can join the Collegiate Chess League club page you can find with !club in the chat. Now, if you are playing or you want to play and your college doesn't have a club, let me know and we can get them added. We have a directory as well if you'd like to see all the schools that are participating. That link is there for you. Here it looks like white is trying to make something happen on the king side, but doesn't seem like it's going to happen. This bishop's going to get flushed out. Yeah, trading off this last pawn here, but I'm not impressed with black's king positioning. Here we see black's king is all the way on the edge, and black allowing for this king to come in and now target these pawns. So the rook comes back to check and to defend a6. But now black's going to have to bring the king all the way back in. Bishop to b6. What a move. That's cutting the rook off from defending a6. That's a tough one. Yeah. So Brigham up the exchange and a pawn, but soon only going to be up an exchange. And maybe even going to lose the b pawn now too. Wow, this could be a draw. Or it actually could favor white if that a pawn gets rolling. Really got to watch out for this. King's up. Now it's not over yet. We could see a pretty big mistake. Up. Check. What's going to happen next? King to d7. Brutal zugzwang there. Look at that. Hold on, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. Gonna have to figure out a way. Okay, here we go. Rook's coming to g6, check. And that's gonna let the king get to a7, and they're just gonna go the a pawn. Wow. Brigham maybe getting a little lucky there. Or maybe it's all skill. But that's a tough way to lose a game. You're fighting back, you win the pawn, you win the other pawn, and then you get absolutely zugzwang there. That rook check forcing the bishop to block, and then after the king move, nothing you can do to save that bishop. So really nice technique there from Brigham. Well, maybe the technique wasn't great, but got the job done. And here we just see a matter of technique with the rook and king. All right. Oh, in the meantime, Illinois has actually taken the lead from Berkeley. So Brigham's points here are going to be much needed to bring them back in it. Here we have a mate. So Brigham with some points. Where's that going to put him? He's in 4th spot. And that brings them back within 2 of Illinois. This is hotly contested, this tournament. We only have 9 minutes left, folks. 9 minutes left, and the number 1 and 2 spot for that diamond membership is only 2 points apart. Now only 1 point apart. Illinois only ahead by 1. This is anyone's match. Let's try to find a game here. Okay, Sauron versus Super Chess Knight. This is a UCLA player. But Illinois looking to get some points out of a strong opponent. Looks like White can castle if they want. They've traded off the light squared bishops. Sauron's got 420 on his clock. That's pretty high in time compared to Super Chess Knight at 2 minutes. Let's try to find a Berkeley matchup. Ideally, we'd find Berkeley versus Illinois. That would be huge. Here we have Illinois versus Yale. This is a big matchup too. Quill Logic and Maxime. Now, I believe both of these players are actually undefeated. Yes, they are. 5 out of 5 between the two of them. Now, who is going to come out on top here and hold on to their streak? Meanwhile, UCLA, Roland taking the top spot. 6 out of 7 with 6 in a row. Only losing to Maxime here. And that's going to put UCLA in the number 3 spot, 4 points ahead of Bangladesh. Georgia Tech just outside of top 5. They're 2 points behind Houston. So we'll see if they try to pick it up there. This game, White has just connected their rooks. Fully developed. Black, meanwhile, still has to get the queen out, which is under attack now, by the way. As well as that bishop, which has no legal moves. So, looks like Maxime's doing well here in terms of development. Oh, is that bishop takes with check? Is that a mistake? Perhaps. Perhaps so. So the king steps aside. That was perhaps missed. Here we have bishop back to f6. That bishop's very protected. Protected by the rook, the knight, and the queen. It's 3 pieces. Only attacked twice. Berkeley at 44 now, taking the lead back. 3 points ahead of Illinois. Wow, Maxime deciding to sacrifice the rook. We have rook here, but now how do you attack it again? This, I am not so sure. You'd love to play rook f1, but rook takes it on f1 with check. So what's happening here? Maybe king to h2, and then try to play rook f1? I'm not sure. This looks like it's going to be good for Quill. Quill is attacking the c7 pawn. Looks like he's going to get it, actually. However, Black has unpinned that rook, so able to save that exchange, perhaps. But now both rooks are hanging. Both rooks are hanging. So, rook to b8, saving that one, which makes sense. And now White cashes out, taking that rook before it saves itself. Here we have g3, saving the h4 pawn from the queen. That would be pretty bad to give up with check. And now White's threatening rook to f1. So the queen steps back, and we have the knight save, stepping back as well. This also attacks a7. Would you take it? Nah. Knight wants to come back towards the center. All right, only 5 minutes left. Cal up by 3. UCLA's kind of in it, though, too. If Roland gets another big point, he can maybe leapfrog UCLA to the 2nd spot, or maybe even 1st. But I feel like he's going to need some reinforcements. Roland right now is playing the 2 knights advantage from Cal. This would be big. Got to take down the Berkeley team, who's now advanced their lead to 46. They're 9 whole points ahead of UCLA. So I don't think UCLA is going to be able to catch them in this amount of time. This game itself might not even finish. With 5 minutes left in the arena, Roland at 4.5 plus that increment. It's going to be hard to imagine this one ends anytime soon. Roland is the tournament leader with 6 in a row. Firewoods and Quill Logic are still playing. Let's tune back on this one. So I kind of liked Quill Logic's position last I saw. What's happening here? What's happening here? Queen d4, just holding on to that knight, pinning Black's knight as well. But yeah, how to make progress. This game, I think, will finish. Rook f1 is a move to try to trade that off. Ooh, bishop takes on e6. That's a spicy move. Just grabbing a pawn right in the center. So now Maxime has a passed e-pawn. Also, bishop to f5 is a beautiful move. That actually threatens to win the knight on e5 with queen takes, because the knight on g6 will be pinned. So that's going to be a big problem. So Maxime maybe getting it back in here. Knight to f3. It looks like we can take that. Knight takes, pawn takes, or rook takes, actually. Rook takes, attacking the g pawn. That's a sensible idea. Wow, computer likes queen to c5 here. That's not an intuitive move. Just completely hanging g3, but attacking h5, very strong idea. Yeah, king steps up. And now apparently rook takes g3 is really strong. This move. Wow, the only move it likes is bishop to g8 check. Absolutely insane. But yeah, rook takes on g3 is also kind of crazy, huh? Rook takes, king takes, and then queen takes h4. Oh. Man, that's brutal. So what's wrong with queen takes? Then you have queen takes threatening that. That's kind of unstoppable. Not ideal. And if you take with the knight, you lose the queen. And if you don't take at all, there's some bad discoveries. Wow, Maxime finds bishop g8. Wild defense. Here, queen c4. Getting out of this pin and then going to take with the knight. Wow. Maxime finding some clutch moves here. Knight takes on h4 with check. If pawn takes, there's queen takes, and it looks like we see it. Rook to h1, and this knight on e4 is covering everything. So white simply up a rook block, but now the checks are going to fly in. Queen check, and this is just crushing for white. King steps up. There's another check. Queen to d6. Yes. King steps up yet again. There's another check. There's a check. Queen check. King steps up. Rook over. Again, no checks for black. Kind of crazy to have the queen and rook so close to the king. Yet so far, this actually, probably this game won't matter, as there's only 30 seconds left. Illinois 3 points behind Berkeley. Can Quill get a huge point in the next 25 seconds? I don't see it unless we see a checkmate blundered, which maybe we do. Maybe we see a checkmate blunder. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. No, not in 8 seconds. He's just not going to move. So, Roland's going to win the tournament, but Berkeley's going to win the standings. So here we have it, folks. Cal, #1 spot. I think, again, back-to-back weeks, perhaps. Illinois just 3 points behind first. And UCLA at 41. That's good enough for third place. And to round out the prizes, we have Bangladesh in 4th and University of Houston in 5th, just ahead of Georgia Tech, Dallas, and Yale. I see Oklahoma's in there as well. Shout out to the rest of the teams that played. University of Arizona, Cal Poly, Northeastern, Milwaukee, Southern Illinois, Uniben, and Boise State. Thank you, everyone, for playing. Appreciate it. Yeah, I see Pop Pie got some points in there, which is good. So, yeah, we are going to raid Illinois because I said I would. And they've been grinding. They've earned it. I also raided UCLA last night on my personal channel. I also see Cal Poly Pomona is live. So, yeah, we're going to give a couple shout outs. We've got a couple of chess streamers here. Our main chess channel is live, so shout out to them. Shout out to the Chess Bay, who's grinding. She just finished some commentary for the Belenkaya sister Dina, who is playing in the Olympiad. Shout out to the Chess Nerd Live, who is one of our ambassadors from Bishop's University in Canada. He's a big streamer. Shout out to UCLA Chess. Love those guys, of course. They are about to end their stream. They've got a strong stream going, a 24-hour stream. Kind of crazy if you ask me, but they've been going strong. They're on like hour 23 or something. Shout out to CPP Chess, who's back on the stream grind, which you love to see. But last but not least, we're going to go and raid Illinois, who came in second today in this tournament. So let's go check them out. Let's go show them some love and support. They're not yet affiliated, so they need to get some more followers. Hopefully we can help them out. If you guys would follow them, I believe I would appreciate that and they would appreciate that. So, yeah, thank you everyone again for playing. Congrats to Berkeley. Congrats to the top 5 for winning a membership. And if you didn't play this week because your school wasn't invited, let me know, and I would be more than happy to invite them. But yeah, that's it for me today. Appreciate and looking forward to the next one. So again, we do this every week on Sundays, but on Saturday next week, we will be showing the playoff bracket for the Bullet Championship. So keep an eye out for that, and hopefully I'll see you guys then. And we might do a featured stream with another club before then. Who knows? So I will see you guys all next week or maybe earlier. Thank you and have a good one.